How's everybody doing today? Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. So in this video, we're going to go over breakdown, but advanced breakdowns. So if you have not watched a previous tutorial on breakdown, how to break out, not breakdown, but how to break out a bid, watch that one first and then jump to this one. This one's going to be very good, very creative on things that you can break out by assigning different values and whatnot. Okay, so we used the last one, takeoff, but we added a bunch of different things, branch lighting, some controls, stuff like that. And I'm not going to go that into it. It's just to give things in certain systems so it can make it look more like a true estimate. But we're going to jump into this. So we assigned everything in here. It's areas have stayed the same, but I've got different things built into different systems now. So we're going to go through every tab and then we'll show you how to do different ways of assigning things and making sure that it's assigned to the correct area so that when you do provide a breakout for somebody, it should be 100% accurate if you took it off correctly. Alright, so we are going to go to direct labor, whatever you guys got. Make sure you plug that in correctly. Incidental labor, if you don't do that, it's okay, but you want to make sure you got something in there. I mean, it's totally up to you how you do your database and how you got your hours per 100, hours per 1,000 per material, but this is another way of adding stuff to be a little bit more on the safe side if you think things are going to take a little bit longer. Okay, so when you do have multiple areas where, let's say this job was phased or something like that, or you do have to do the bid breakdown. You got multiple areas, and then in this case you have what they call is incidental labor, and you still need to divide this out amongst all those other areas, which is that the offices, the two different offices, conference rooms, whatnot. This little button right here, basically you can cost allocate this across anything. So in this case we have an area which shows you the two office rooms, a conference bathroom, and corridor. If you wanted to, you could just use the percentage column and just divide it equally out. So we're going to say 20%, and then on the bottom you see 100%, and this is allocated to the exact amount that we have plugged in. So that way, if, for example, the owner didn't go with something in one of the spaces and he said, no, I only want to do 4 out of 5, at least you got your mobilization buried in there. So you got, I don't know, like 2 hours or some kind of hours in there for hauling material, getting started and whatnot. At least that's buried in there. And we'll go over the dollar amounts of what you can do in here when we get to the subs, because that's going to be pretty good. So we're going to hit OK. Like I said, if you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it's fairly cool to keep this in, and it protects yourself on the hours whenever you get one of those clients that want a breakdown of every single area that you're doing. And believe me, you are going to run into that in your career. Alright, we'll do this really quick. Oops. Alright, last one. Alright, labor factoring, useful. Once again, depending on I mean, we're just doing like typical inside condition offices, but if you do have something weird going on, this is where you would want to apply it. Labor escalation, same areas. If it was same thing, if it was phased and one area is going to be happen 2 years from now, at least you can put in the amount and then assign it to that specific area, so that means that value is being transferred over. Here, same thing. If you have any kind of indirect labor associated with the job, you can split this out. You can put it all across 20%, or however you want to divide it. Now here's a good one, subs. Now you're gonna ask yourself, all right, I got 5 areas. I have structural cabling. I can't do it in-house. I have to hire a company. So in my area, I got LVS, low voltage solutions. I got some AV work. I got AVI. He's doing the conference room and maybe one of the offices. I don't know. Fire alarm. I got fire alarm in every single room. Now, owner says, I want a breakdown of everything because I might have the tenant pay for this, and then I might have the other tenant pay for that, and then I'm going to pay for the corridor work, whatever the case may be. So, fortunately, you do have to go back to your sub and then tell them to break it out for you. Once it's broken out, you don't have to go back here and create 5 breakouts. What you do is you plug in the overall value of it, click the 3 dots, click the 3 areas, and if you can see, there's the percentage, but you also have the dollar amount. The overall value is already plugged in. Now, their value, meaning the subcontractor, should equal this value, but broken out 5 times. All you got to do is plug it in 5 different times again. So once you change this, I'm going to put 2,000, the percentage will automatically change, and you can't get out of this until that goes back to 100%, because you will get the error and you can't get out now, which is pretty good, kind of like a safety net, so you can't, mess that up. So I'm going to leave this alone, but if perfect way to do this, it's allocated correctly. You plug in the exact numbers they gave you. You're 100% safe now when your bid breakdown is broken out accurately to the T. You do this with all the different trades. AV, area, broken down dollar amount. Educational purposes, I just put 20%, but if it changes, you change the dollar amount and it will add up 100%. If it doesn't, you can't get out of the screen. Fire alarm, same thing. I'll show you again. Area. Oh, and then also too, you're gonna notice that dollar symbol. That means the cost is allocated to whatever it is in here. So area and system. You could do it per drawing, you could do it a phase system, but it needs to be assigned to something for the cost allocation for your bid breakdown to actually work. If it doesn't work, you'll see it in the bid breakdown. You can't do it, or the numbers aren't adding up in the end. General expenses, same thing. If you want to bring something in here, put money in there and just put 20% or something. It'll actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. I'll come back to this right now. So equipment, same thing. If you need to add something, add it, break it down to the area. Quota material works the same way as subs. I just put some freight in here because in my extension I added some controls, so I put like a switch and I put $300, $350 each, so I got some money in there. So if I come in here, there's some freight associated with that, and if it's an overall freight, just put $300 and then divide it out 5 times, 20% across the board. All right, so we're gonna say 10% markup overall. It's 4.5, but you got 10% on overhead, right? I'm gonna go to breakdown now, and this is how it would look, but I'm gonna just go back and show you system area. All right, area, and here goes that general expenses equipment. So if you don't wanna allocate it 5 different times. Just click these and it'll divide it out evenly across every area. That way you don't have to do that. Everything we showed you for like subs and quoted material. So hit OK. We're going to reload this. Make sure there's no remainder on the bottom. Very important. Very important. If you haven't watched the previous video, take a look at that. Towards the end of the video, I talk about the remainder. So now we got all areas allocated out with controls, everything. The percentage marks up. It's all divided across these. So one way to make sure this is okay, it says 108.007.75. Number 108.007.75. If you see these two different numbers, this is the modified column. If you don't know anything about this, go back to the intro videos on these. And this is like your final pricing. This is where I usually modify. If I do want to be a little bit competitive, you'll see me talking about this area a lot. It just means this is separate from this side, so you can control different percentages to see if you want to get more competitive, or what you would do if somebody asked you, can you come down a little bit? You would, play with this side versus this side. Alright, so here's the, I call it cool part, because when you got a lot of different systems broken out, you can do this instead. So we can, since we know we have it broken down per area and system, we're going to group those together, allocate this, and the screen's going to look pretty cool now. Alright, so now the owner says, hey, I'm that office 101 and office 102, what is the cost for all of this? Hey, I got, you got fixture costs, just fixtures only, buying the material, no install. There's $32.70 for that, $30. Okay, so all right, what about the telephone? All right, well, telephone subcontractor, he's saying it's going to cost $1,600 to do that room, and another $1,600 to do that room, and then so forth. What about the the AV work in both those rooms? AV work, okay, AV work is $2,400 in that room, $2,400 in that room. Now, if you want it, you could like copy and paste this, and then mess with the areas, and you can actually hide a lot of this, a lot of these things right here, the subs, total labor. You can hide all this if you wanted to, and then you could just copy and paste this in an Excel sheet and kind of manipulate that. Spend like maybe 10-15 minutes manipulate it and make it look pretty. Do an Excel in the Excel, and then create a PDF, and then just basically attach it to your bid if you wanted to, and he can't come back and say, hey, what's this, what's that. Everything is broken out for them. Might have to sit there and explain it to them, but you can say, oh yeah, just go across, look at fixtures, and that's your fixture cost, no labor. That's your fire alarm cost, no labor. That's your what labor material from the subcontractors, and there and so forth. Yeah, I hope this helps. This is advanced breaking a bid down for the client, which if you haven't gone through this yet, good for you. But you're eventually gonna go down to go over this when the owner or the GC or the owner is making the GC break down every single room, and it's gonna happen. It is money, and they value it really important, and they just want to make sure that their money is being spent wisely in certain areas. Once again, Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. If you haven't subscribed, click that button. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.